as we can see. It's interesting how Nara Lokesh is guiding everyone else, playing almost the role of the host, bring them all in, big hugs, and really excited for what they've achieved.
And that's Dr. Pemasani also on stage there, Ram Mohan Naidu, all of them playing the host, all smiles, very happy to play the host right now. And there you have Nara Lokesh meeting with Chirag Paswan, all the NDA allies expected to be there. We're hearing that Nitish Kumar won't be able to make it, otherwise you'd have had a repeat of what we saw in the Central Hall of Parliament with Prime Minister Modi, Chandrababu Naidu, Nitish Kumar. The Triple N and the Natu Natu that was expected here in Vijayawada, not exactly going to happen because Nitish Kumar won't be there. But you see those images are on your screens right now of the meet and greet that's happening on the dais, all the VVIPs seated together. And there you have Pawan Kalyan's wife, who you met, Rahul, at the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
I asked her, do you speak any Telugu? She said, I've learnt a bit. And it was very
She's dressed like a Telugu official.
Yeah, and very interesting chemistry between the two. This is Praful Patel, who lost out on being a minister in the Union Cabinet. But representing the NCP of Ajit Pawar there at this swearing-in. So all the allies are there, cutting across the political spectrum, and they're all part of this celebration here.
Yeah, so that's O Paneerselvam, and of course you've got all other leaders there.
That's Siddharth Singh of the
Siddharth
BJP.
Singh, who you tried to speak to. But
no, he came, he called and we were on the phone, but there's a lot of disturbance there, so we couldn't make it happen.
And there's Balaya, superstar of his own right. I don't know if you've seen any of his reels, Rahul, but he goes incredibly viral for the kind of action scenes that he does in his films. Still very much an active political superstar. And then you have Chiranjeevi Rajinikanth. You see the placement there, very, very interesting, of all the big superstars together right in front, seated next to the NDA allies as well. Chiranjeevi Rajinikanth perhaps could take some notes from how Pawan Kalyan has managed to achieve this kind of political success.
No, but T.S., this becomes important. Can he sustain this? So hypothetically, if he weren't part of this coalition, you know, what kind of vote share, seat share do you think Pawan Kalyan would have ended up at? How much? He's a force multiplier for sure in this NDA dispensation, but where would he be without them?
Trivia, before I get into that, Chiranjeevi had actually advised both Rajinikanth and Kamal Haasan not to make the mistake that he committed. Rajinikanth, of course, listened to his advice. Kamal Haasan didn't, but of course, he learnt his lesson a year later, and now he's going to become a Rajya Sabha MP in 2025. Pawan Kalyan, in fact, my sources in the BJP told me was that he was advised by the BJP that don't ally with Chandrababu Naidu. This is, of course, early 2023, and instead wait for his chance because they could project him as the face of the BJP-led alliance in Andhra Pradesh and take on Jagan Mohan Reddy in the future. But Pawan Kalyan obviously realized that he couldn't wait for another 5 years in the opposition and would want to defeat Jagan Mohan Reddy in alliance with Chandrababu Naidu. So in that sense, the coming together of the Kamma and Kapu community is something which was seen as unimaginable, something which was seen as not possible a year or two ago, actually happened because there was the vote transfer taking place almost seamlessly, as is evident from the results, between the Kamma and Kapu community, because the Kapu community has always felt that despite being numerically superior, they have always had to play second fiddle to either the Kamma community or the Reddy community. But this time, they see in Pawan Kalyan as having a share in the governance pie, in the power pie, in Amravati, Andhra Pradesh, and that should give them a lot of hope.
Now, you have to also give it to him, Rahul, for the fact that in 2019, he tasted the worst possible defeat. He contested in 2 seats, lost in both, but refused to really give up at that particular point, continued to fight it out. And interestingly, when I spoke to his team, they actually told me that he gave exams to all of the candidates. And then if they passed the exam, they'd get the ticket. So that was one of the criteria by which he decided to go ahead and choose his candidate. So he has a very different, unique political thinking, which he wants to bring into Andhra Pradesh as well, which has proved to be successful, at least in this election.
Kingshuk Nat, for those who are joining in at this moment, we're just about 27 minutes away from this big swearing in. You know, what would you be looking out for? You know, given your long history of tracking Chandrababu Naidu, you know, what would you be looking out for most in terms of how Naidu operates in his 4th innings as Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh?
I think Mr. Naidu will focus on the development of Amravati and development of Andhra Pradesh. Because in the past, I remember in his last days in Hyderabad, he had lamented to me that how he made the big mistake of only developing Hyderabad. So this time he's going to develop Amravati and also going to develop other cities. And that is what he's going to focus on. And he's going to increase his political power. And for a long time, I had asked him, why doesn't he go to Delhi? Because he was a large figure. Why doesn't he go to Delhi? He said, sir, who will look after my work in in the state of Andhra Pradesh if I left. Now
You
I
know, there
think
was a
he's got.
question. That was a question
Now-
that came up this time too, with many, as soon as the mandate came in, suggesting that, he's the kingmaker, saying if Chandrababu Naidu has PM ambitions, now's his chance to push forward, to steamroll ahead. Venkaiah Naidu there, who's just made his way onto the stage. Kalyani Shankar, do you think Chandrababu Naidu at any point harbored PM ambitions? This was his last shot, essentially, if he wanted to. And now at this point, he's made it very clear his focus is very clearly on Andhra Pradesh, on developing, transforming Andhra.
Well, yes, see, politicians are always very ambitious. I think Chandrababu is one of the most ambitious person I have ever seen. I have been seeing him from 1980 when he was a junior minister in Anjaya's cabinet. So I wouldn't put it it's difficult for him to think of. But then that he has to face Modi ji, who is equally authoritarian, and both are quite political that way. Now the first thing Modi ji will try to do is to I hear that they will try to break other parties and get more people. So that is one problem. And second thing is that Chandrababu, if he becomes a prime minister, who are the others who will support him? Of course, he had made earlier in 2019. Before that, he befriended Kejriwal and also Mamata Banerjee and other people. But then it didn't click, so he left it. Now he's joined the other group. So who will support him? Because, in BJP, I don't think that they will support him the way Telugu Desam.
So the BJP big guns has just come on the stage. You see Home Minister Amit Shah meeting all the dignitaries on the stage, taking his position. We saw the BJP President JP Nadda as well. That's former Vice President Venkaiah Naidu, all of them on the stage. And this is really, from the BJP's perspective, good news, because they've suddenly gone from not being in power, not having any hope of being in power in Andhra Pradesh, to having a position. How important is the BJP support, T.S. Sudhir, for the TDP alliance? Because he's got enough MLAs to be able to run this on his own. He needs financial support. But politically on the ground, did the BJP presence in this alliance ticket make much of a difference or not really?
Well, politically, no. In fact, even in 2019, they had got less than 1% of the share. This time, they've got a little more than 2%. So politically, not really contributing much. But the BJP's presence actually proved one point to Chandrababu Naidu, because there was apprehension that in about 25, 26 constituencies where the Muslim vote really matters, the TDP could actually be starting with a minus. That hasn't happened, which means that even if the BJP was part of the alliance, the TDP plus Janasena plus BJP alliance, the minority voters, the Muslim voters, did not really have an issue with it, neither in 2014 nor in 2024. And that will provide actually a lot of heart to Chandrababu Naidu, that he does not really need to worry about the minority vote. He's looking at the BJP mainly from the perspective, from the prism of a double engine ki sarkar, that he would be able to get funds for his development projects, which includes not just Amravati, it also includes the Polavaram irrigation project, which has been in the works for so many years. It was there in Naidu's earlier innings, during Vice Rashekar Reddy's time.
How far is it from completion? How much money do you think it will take to complete the Polavaram project?
They say that it is about 70% complete. The problem has been that it spent a lot of time trying to get environmental clearance from Chhattisgarh, from Odisha, which had raised objections. And even now, because of lack of money, because the Jal Shakti Ministry also had some issues with the way it was conceived, it is still a long way from completion. So the Polavaram project will be one big project that Chandrababu Naidu would be keen to complete, along with the Amravati capital project.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see what really Naidu prioritizes, first of all. But let's once again put the focus on the images that are coming in right now of all of the dignitaries who are currently on stage. You've got all of the big politicians who've come in. An interesting invite list, because the messaging is very clear. There have been a lot of questions, Rahul, about where Chandrababu Naidu stands in the NDA. I think he cleared that very clearly when he was there at the Central Hall of Parliament, when he were questioning whether he'll go with the India bloc. And his swearing in too seems to be another message that, this is a show of solidarity with the NDA, all allies there on stage.
YSRCP had 20 plus MPs last time. They counted for very little. These MPs are priceless because the government survival, frankly, depends on them. Kalyani Shankar, do you see the TDP and the BJP, and you've tracked both these parties for decades, do you see them have smooth sailing, or do you think there'll be turbulence mid-journey?
You see, both of them, both Modi and Chandrababu. In fact, Chandrababu is in a way a prototype of Modi. You remember in those days when he was a chief minister in 96, all that, he used to call the collectors and talk to them, on with his laptop, all that, and he He really did all that which Modi ji is doing now. So they are both same kind, and both of them is thinking also will be the same. I don't see them being together because in earlier also in 2018, I remember Arun Jaitley was trying to persuade him not to go, but then he just went out. I don't know for what reason. And in 2004, I asked him once that why did he not do well. He said my mistake was I joined with the BJP, and also he didn't bother about agriculture. So now again he has to prioritize his thing with the first thing with Andhra Pradesh, try to get the money for all these Amaravati project, all that, and then only he will think of other things. But the first 1 year, I don't see anything happening, either of them trying to do anything.
You think after 1 year there'll be trouble?
I think there could be. You see, I mean, I'm not saying there will be. There could be trouble. You know, it
Why?
all depends on if it doesn't.
On what
get the
kind of
money,
issues
then
can
what
there
will
be
he do?
trouble?
Huh?
On what kind of issues, Kalyani ji, do you think there can be trouble?
No, again he will say he will withdraw. Again he can do all kinds of things. You see, Chandrababu knows how to deal with the center. You remember he tried to bargain with Vajpayee and got the speaker's post, and whatever ministers he had, they all got a hefty portfolio. And he knows what he wants, and he will try to do the same thing. In fact, he
Okay,
did
you know,
that
there's
with
something
Modi ji
bigger at
also.
play, Akshita. If you look at the dignitaries who are on the stage at the moment and the significance, he's arguably the most important chief minister in the country now.
Yeah.
Because no one matters quite as much as he does. Everybody else has a bit role to play. You know, the likes of Eknath Shinde and the others have a role to play most certainly. But he towers above them all because the central government's future really depends on his support. That makes him first amongst equals. Maybe Yogi Adityanath would come in a close second. But that apart, he really is first amongst equals amongst all the CMs.
But, you know, in such a circumstance, many believed that in the cabinet, the TDP may have a bigger say, that they'd have more than just two leaders representing the party.
But it doesn't seem to be of much interest to him. He's much more bothered about running Andhra Pradesh well, getting money for Andhra Pradesh.
So that's the question, whether one of the terms and conditions he's put forth is that, look, you just give me two berths in the cabinet, but then give me the financial package that I'm asking for. And then there's that question mark over the speaker, because there's also a lot of talk about whether he's going to be pushing for that.
T.S. Sudhir, how important is special status for Andhra Pradesh for the TDP in this avatar? They spoke about it in the campaign. They haven't been speaking about it much after. Are they just quiet in public? Or do you think money is okay even if it's not special status?
Well, Chandrababu Naidu had accepted a special financial package when he was chief minister, and that is what was criticized by Jagan Mohan Reddy, and he kind of pushed him to pull support out of the NDA in 2018 because he believed the special status package was what was promised on the floor of the House by the then Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. But at this point in time, special status, given the fact that the Finance Commission has said that no more special status to any state in India, I don't know whether the NDA would really want to go back on it or tweak it in order to say that we will give a generous financial package, because at the end of the day, that's what the state really needs. More money for different development projects in Andhra Pradesh. So if Andhra Pradesh and maybe Bihar are given that kind of a special financial package, I think both states would be more than happy. And it is then for Chandrababu Naidu to sell it to the people of Andhra Pradesh.
It's a balancing act of sorts, Rahul. The moment you give anything to Andhra, Bihar is going to come crying, saying you've given it to them, why not us? Because both have demanded special status right now. From who I've spoken to in the Telugu Desam party, they've said that, look, special status, yes, is something we've spoken to with the BJP on, but we're very happy if the money comes in. If the financial package is given to us, we're willing to wait on the special status.
For a long time on that stage, the Home Minister and the former Vice President Venkaiah Naidu have been locked in intense conversation. And I really want to be a fly on that wall and try and understand what they're discussing, because Venkaiah Naidu said there's a very strong message in this verdict, and I hope all leaders, big and small, read that message and listen to what people are saying. You've tracked, Sudhir, Venkaiah Naidu's politics for a long time, and the former Vice President who's largely retired from active politics nowadays. When he says that, what do you think is the message he's trying to send those who matter?
Well, I'll just try to guess. See, the list of Council of Ministers was delayed till very late in the night because apparently Chandrababu Naidu wanted to consult with Amit Shah before the list of BJP ministers in the cabinet was decided. Initially, we thought that they will have two nominees in the Council of Ministers, but finally it was only Satya Kumar Yadav, who is the BJP National Secretary, and more interesting, he used to be the personal assistant to Venkaiah Naidu. So that is the kind of connection that Venkaiah Naidu also has now to the Council of Ministers in Andhra Pradesh.
Interesting.